In today's video, we're diving into a powerful moment that left fans speechless. Caitriona Balfe opens up about the heartbreaking and cruel experience after marrying Tony McGill. What happened behind the scenes and how did it impact her? Stick around because we're about to unpack it all. In Outlander, weddings are often a symbol of joy and union, but for Claire Fraser, the significance of marriage has been far more complicated. From her first marriage to Frank Randall to her enduring, passionate bond with Jamie Fraser, Claire's experience with weddings is anything but typical. But in Season 7, Episode 11, Claire finds herself in yet another marriage, one that is motivated by survival rather than love. However, this union is one of the most painful moments in Claire's life, and it's a moment that Caitriona Balfe, who portrays Claire, has discussed in great depth. This video will explore the emotional and complex layers of Claire's marriage to Lord John Grey, as well as Caitriona Balfe's reflections on how this wedding came to be and why it was such a devastating experience for her character. Stick around as we break down this painful chapter in Outlander's epic tale of love, loss, and survival. Claire's marriages, a history of struggle and survival. Before diving into the specifics of Claire's ill-fated wedding to Lord John Grey, it's important to reflect on Claire's history with marriage. Over the course of the series, Claire has been married more than once, but her weddings have often been anything but the idyllic romantic ceremonies one might expect. Her first marriage to Frank Randall, though filled with love at one point, was strained due to Claire's unexpected journey back in time to 18th century Scotland. Her deep connection with Jamie Fraser, her second husband, is a passionate and intense bond, but it was formed under life-or-death circumstances and tested by war, separation, and grief. Claire's marriages, therefore, represent much more than just the union of two people. They are a reflection of survival. For Claire, each wedding has been marked by emotional conflict, where the joy of the occasion is often overshadowed by the weight of external pressures and inner turmoil. But no wedding in Outlander has encapsulated this sense of survival more powerfully than her marriage to Lord John Grey in Season 7. Context: a wedding under duress. In Outlander Season 7, Episode 11, Claire finds herself in a position where she must marry Lord John Grey, not out of love but for survival. The circumstances surrounding this marriage are dire. Jamie Fraser, Claire's true love and husband, has been presumed dead in a shipwreck. To make matters worse, the Redcoats are closing in on Claire, accusing her of being a rebel sympathizer. The Revolutionary War is turning in favor of the British, and Claire's life is in imminent danger. In a desperate attempt to protect her, Lord John Grey proposes a marriage of convenience. This union is not based on affection or mutual desire, but purely out of necessity. It's a move to secure her safety, but it comes at an immense emotional cost to Claire. For Claire, this wedding is anything but a joyous occasion. Instead of excitement and happiness, she's consumed with grief and shock, barely able to comprehend the reality of her situation. Her mind is still reeling from the news of Jamie's death, and here she is, being asked to commit to another man. Caitriona Balfe, who brings Claire's turmoil to life on screen, discussed this emotional state in an interview with Variety. Caitriona Balfe discusses the painful wedding. In her interview with Variety, Caitriona Balfe described the emotional complexity of Claire's wedding to Lord John Grey. According to Balfe, Claire's state of mind during this moment is one of shock and disbelief. She is not ready for this new commitment, but it's a choice she must make to ensure her survival. She is in the process of shock, Balfe explained. It is purely functional, this is to save her. She is at that stage of grief where she doesn't quite know what to think or feel, and I think she expects to feel something different than she does. And the fact that she doesn't feel it is a source of betrayal of her own self. It is not a very happy occasion. This perspective adds a profound layer to the wedding scene. While Claire may be outwardly going through the motions of the ceremony, internally she is struggling with the weight of everything she has lost. The grief of losing Jamie is still fresh, and the thought of marrying another man in such an unfeeling and pragmatic way leaves Claire feeling hollow. Balfe further explained that the cruelty of the situation is compounded by the fact that Claire is forced to recite the vows. Typically, wedding vows are exchanged with a sense of love and commitment, but in this case, Claire is simply fulfilling a duty. The words themselves feel cruel to her, as they are spoken in a context that is entirely removed from the love and joy that weddings are supposed to represent. It is cruel if you think about it that right after losing her husband, she is being forced to say those words, Balfe said. They could have just done the I-dose, but no. To make her say all of that is very cruel. For Claire, the vows are not an expression of love. They are a grim reminder of how far she has fallen from the life she once knew. She is not marrying Lord John Grey because she loves him. She is marrying him to save her life, and that fact is a painful reality she must face head-on. The emotional toll of the wedding scene. The wedding scene between Claire and Lord John Grey is undeniably one of the most emotionally charged moments of Outlander Season 7. The ceremony itself is somber and devoid of joy, and the weight of the situation is felt not only by Claire but also by the characters around her. David Barry, who plays Lord John Grey, described the wedding as horrible. While Lord John is offering Claire a lifeline, he too understands the emotional toll this marriage is taking on her. He is not the one Claire loves, and their vows are not an expression of romantic desire. Instead, they are a grim necessity, a way to navigate the brutal political landscape and protect Claire from the very real threat of death. The exchange of vows is particularly difficult for Claire, as the priest's words about death resonate painfully with her. The reminder of Jamie's presumed death is a wound that Claire is not ready to confront, and yet she is forced to utter vows that seem to mock the very idea of love and commitment. It's a deeply unsettling moment for both the character and the audience, and it highlights just how far Claire has been pushed into survival mode. The aftermath, the grief-fueled sex, and Jamie's reaction. While the wedding itself is painful for Claire, it also sets the stage for the complex emotional journey that follows. In the aftermath of the wedding, Claire and Lord John Grey share an intimate moment, but it is a moment driven by grief rather than passion. The emotional weight of the ceremony, combined with Claire's unresolved grief over Jamie's death, leads to an intense and brutal encounter that has major implications for Claire's future. Sam Heughan, who plays Jamie Fraser, teased that this emotional conflict would continue to shape Claire's relationships and actions throughout the rest of Season 7. In Episode 12, titled Carnal Knowledge, Jamie's reaction to the events surrounding Claire's marriage will come to a head. Heughan promised that the scene would be a typical Jamie and Claire moment where they really hash it out. This raw confrontation between the characters will set the tone for much of the season and continue to unfold as the series progresses into Season 8. Conclusion: a wedding of survival, not love. In the end, Claire's marriage to Lord John Grey is a stark reminder of the complexity of love, loss, and survival in the world of Outlander. While it may not be a romantic wedding, it is nonetheless a pivotal moment for Claire's character. It highlights the painful sacrifices she must make in order to survive in a world that has already taken so much from her. Caitriona Balfe's portrayal of Claire in this heartbreaking scene is a testament to the emotional depth of the show. Through her nuanced performance, Balfe conveys the raw grief, shock, and inner turmoil that Claire experiences as she is forced into a marriage she never wanted. As Outlander continues, it's clear that Claire's journey is far from over. She may have lost Jamie, but her resilience and determination to survive will carry her through even the most painful of circumstances. Keep watching as the twists and turns of Claire's story will continue to unfold, bringing new challenges, new alliances, and hopefully some healing to her broken heart. Things have been wild over on Outlander lately. Caitriona Balfe heard her husband Sam Heughan had died at sea, so she and Jamie's best friend Lord David Barry took solace in each other, engaging in a night of sad, despairing sex. Then Jamie turned up alive, things got complicated. And if that weren't enough, Lord John's son Charles Vandervaart learned that he was actually Jamie's biological son. William and Jamie both had meltdowns and were still sorting through the fallout. Will Jamie and Claire's marriage emerge from this trial unscathed? Caitriona Balfe thinks so. "This is a marriage that has endured," she told TV Line. "Their core is solid. There's things that will definitely rock them, and there are wounds that may take a long time to heal, but it's work, right? From here on out, it's about work. It's not about will they slash, won't they? It's about how do they, We've still got several episodes to go before Season 7 is over. Charles Vandervaart promises that the finale, which will air on Friday, January 17th, will be bittersweet. Maybe not what you hope for, but maybe it's what was inevitable always. There's good things and there's really horrible things, but that's the Outlander way, you know? As for Vandervaart's characters, he promises that William will get over this hump. William does somewhat come to terms with the fact that he is quite similar to his biological father, the actor said. I do think it's going to take him a long time, though, to reconcile with that truly and to accept him as his father. That might be a little bit later down the line. Might be so much later down the line that we don't even see it this season. We've got a season 8 for that, Vandervaart chuckled. The 8th and final season of Outlander will air sometime in 2026. Cast and crew have already finished filming it, and Caitriona Balfe is in a reflective mood. It's been such a strange year, she told Bazaar. Knowing that it was coming to an end, we all definitely felt heightened emotions at various times throughout the process. Finishing up was so emotional, I went away and did a yoga and meditating retreat, and Sam's about to go on a trek in the Himalayas. I think we're all finding something to put our energy into. That's a very long-winded way of saying I think I'm okay. Balfe had an especially eventful season 8. She got to direct an episode of the show in this final season. She was phenomenal, Heughan said. She's such a people person, and she got out some great performances from some rather rusty actors. Honestly, I was so proud of you that day. Balfe has been playing Claire for over a decade by this point, so she was more than ready to step behind the camera. My relationship with Claire has completely evolved over the years, she said. In the beginning, you were filling in all of these blank spaces of her history and her memories, and then, as the years went on, you're living it, you're creating them in real time. And so, in a way, without sounding weird, she lives within you. I think more than anything what I realized is, for me personally, what an amazing teacher Claire has been. She taught me how to be responsible, taught me how to use my voice, how to stand up for myself and for other people, about compassion and empathy. I hope I brought some of those qualities into it anyway. It's great to hear Balfe reflecting back on her time as Claire, but what can she or Heughan tell us about what's on the way in the final season? Closest they get might be this line from Heughan about Jamie's love for Claire. I've always said when Jamie sees Claire, he sees his demise, he said. He sees his death. He's like, I will die for this woman and probably will. That's love. Heughan and Balfe first were sent to an Outlander boot camp when they were cast. It's not as bad as it sounds, or maybe it was. Heughan was taught how to speak Gaelic, horse ride, and fight like Jamie Fraser. Balfe spent a lot of time in fittings and filming with her other on-screen husband. Heughan says he sort of felt like the second husband, but he thinks they wanted to save the special sauce, alluding to the chemistry between the two that Outlander is now famous for. Until Claire and Jamie first met, which was also when they first started filming together, Balfe revealed that before they started filming, they had a special day together in London, where they got their hair done and walked around together. As for first impressions, Balfe called Heughan out on what he said to her the first time he saw her on camera. 11 years and she still remembers, Heughan whispered under his breath. Here's the deal. He told Balfe she looked mature, like older on-screen on camera. And in fact, Caitriona Balfe might be a time traveler too, because she pulled that little artifact up so fast Heughan's head spun. He tried to rectify the past, but then said, "It's true." The apology goes awry. But things got better. You look beautiful on camera, he added, before really making up for it by sharing the advice he'd give Caitriona from 2013. What would I say to younger you? That you do nothing because you are going to be spectacular in this role. He got Balfe and us with that one. Few watch the exclusive video to find out what Balfe and Heughan love most about Season 7 and how they feel about not only Jamie and Claire being separated but their own conscious uncoupling, as Balfe quips, with the end of filming their timeless show that will go down history and then come back to the future. It will never really be over because it's streaming forever.